Welcome to the first video from cleanandgreencar.org. Now today we're going to be doing some mods on this little Daihatsu Sioi you can see behind me.
Wow.
Welcome to Clean and Green Car.
It was going to be Clean and Green Car. It actually was. I wanted to start a blog.
You guys thought we were called Mighty Car Mods. No, Clean and Green Car. But I believe in the edit then we changed our minds later and then cut that off.
Yeah.
Because that's not in the final video that we're about to watch today.
Well, the video was never made as a, oh, let's start a YouTube channel and still be doing it in 13 years. The video was made as a, hey, this might be some fun. And we legitimately just did it on a Saturday morning for fun.
Yeah. Well, actually, it was a Saturday. It was a couple, I think it was a couple of different days. So it was a 3-day shoot all up.
Don't you love it when things just work?
But we were high school teachers working at a school. Or we were working in, I was a teacher and Marty was running the studio, and we both had mad cars and we're like, there's this new thing called YouTube, let's make a video. Mighty Car Mods was not our first channel. We'd done a bunch of videos before that. We'd probably done like 8 or 9 videos, which now would be called pranks, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like dressing up in bird suits and running around and like
music
stealing
videos.
Stuff off people, music videos, skits.
Yep.
Just funny things. And then I bought a Jeep and that sucked. And we were like, maybe I should buy a little car.
I never even went in the Jeep.
No.
You had it for such a short amount of time, I didn't even get a ride.
It's like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And now I'd probably be happy to go driving through the bush.
Yeah, well, that's what it would be better for rather than urban attack. But anyway, we digress. 13 years, people.
Yes, it's been today. 13 years ago, we uploaded our first video of cleanandgreencar.org. And so it later became called Mighty Car Mods. And today, we're going to watch it together to celebrate this day. We do have a celebratory t-shirt, which is the Mighty Car Mods first step, jack up your car.
Yep.
And we have those available. So if you've been around for more than 2 or 3 videos, check one of them out. Now, Martin.
You may have heard that expression more than once.
It's time to watch the video. I haven't seen this video in its entirety since we made it 13 years ago.
I've seen references to it, like someone will post a link and go, look, at 3 minutes, they did the same thing they still do now, funnily enough. But I haven't watched it in its entirety.
You got to remember the culture of YouTube was very different then. I would say there probably wasn't even a culture. People weren't going, you should collaborate with them, and then we'll share viewers and do whatever. There was no monetization. People weren't doing it to make money. They were doing it just to kind of become part of a community and share ideas with friends. It was really hard doing video on the internet in 2005, 2006.
Really hard.
We'd kind of tried to come up with some of our own technology, and around that time, before YouTube, we were making videos for real estate agents as kind of extra money on the side of doing tours through houses and stuff. And I started saying to these real estate agents, instead of just showing the house, why don't you show the neighborhood, show what's across the road, show what's around. And so started a little company that did that. It flopped eventually, but it got us kind of really thinking about video on the internet and how exciting it was. And then along came Clean and Green Car, which was Marty's idea of starting this kind of eco blog about how you can do eco stuff with cars. That happened, I would say, 10 years before most people outside of the industry cared that you were into that.
Historically, a few other things were happening that were of interest. One, I had a job, didn't pay very well, so even a tank of petrol was pretty tough. I had a really thirsty Subaru Liberty GTB that used more petrol than any car I've ever owned except for maybe Supergrants. And so I flipped that and I bought a Micra, and I was trying to be responsible, trying to save some money, trying to, house deposits, all the stuff you start thinking about in your mid to late 20s. And also, GFC, it was a different time. GFC was about to hit, everything was going a bit crazy. We had political change in Australia, all these big issues that were happening, but filtered down into little Martin was that I need to get a cheaper car, I need to be smart with my money, etc., etc. But also we love being creative and making stuff. And so that's why I bought that little Micra, and that's what kicked off the idea. Clean, green, always been tiny bit of a greenie, so that came into it as well. And that's pretty much
my story was very much paralleled by yours, that I was driving around in a Jeep. I thought, this is a fun car, summer's coming up, I'm going to drive around, take it to the beach. After a few weeks I realised that yes, it was cool for taking to the beach or driving on dirt or whatever, which I didn't really do then, other than just driving to the beach down a track or something. But then I went, it used so much fuel, there's got to be a better way. And so I bought a Daihatsu. I pronounce in this video Sioi. We've since spoken to someone who's Italian and they're like, it's Fiore or something.
That means heart, apparently.
Or something.
Yeah.
I don't quite have
you
the
can
finesse to
guarantee
say
when the people from Japan named it, they would pronunciation was all over the place.
Well, then their pronunciation again would be different. But we have a photo that we'll put up. This was a week before we filmed Mighty Car Mods. So this photo, that's Marty's little car and my little car before we'd kicked off the show, but there was this talk of the blog. So Marty's like, we could do this thing. And I was like, I've been making these real estate videos and doing music videos. I got camera gear. And so you should do some car stuff and I'll film it. The other thing was, I was never meant to work on cars at all, and Marty was never meant to present in our ideas. So I would kind of go, here's the problem, it needs fixing. Marty's the expert. Then Marty would do the stuff, and then I'd go, so I would kind of try and present some complex tasks to the audience, because I wasn't that good on working on cars, and I'm still not actually. And Marty still would, I would say, take the initiative of doing the tricky stuff that I couldn't and I can't do. But definitely there was this kind of crossover where Marty kind of started going, cool, well, I'll do more presenting stuff. And I was like, well, I want to learn about cars. Marty already knew he had years of experience working on cars, whereas all of my experience was in music and video. And so we definitely, via mutual osmosis, learned a lot from each other.
The technology changed as well. It's worth saying, at that point, it was very hard to watch a video on the internet, let alone upload one to the internet. So not only was your internet slow, computers could only just hack that kind of stuff. And even the fact of doing, like, you know, video, I mean, this is a standard definition file, really. It's like a 480p, it's like postage stamp size. That was a struggle even to get that online. And we had other videos later where we would have to chop it up into bits on different computers because they would just be like crammed and slowed down and basically unusable. Stuff that now you can do on an iPhone, which is amazing how far that stuff has come. But that also influences some of the reasons that, you know, some bits might look a bit grainy or have a bit of, you know, stuff in it like that. But I'm still pretty proud of the quality considering the constraints that we had at the time.
We'll have a look. I know Turbos and Temples was, I think, 5 10-minute edits that was done separately. Yeah. And then I think we may have, I don't think we could put them together in iMovie because we used iMovie for everything. I think we had to stitch it in QuickTime. Something like that. Or MPEG or something. We had to kind of put them together. System. So I've not seen this video in its entirety for 13 years, pretty much, since it went up. And I reckon some of it I'm going to find a bit hard to watch because it's going to feel a bit cringy. I just have to keep telling myself it was a different time and place. We never knew in 13 years' time we or anyone would be looking at it. We got 300 views and we were stoked. We were like, that's enough. It took us 6 months back then to get 100,000 views because I remember we went, 6 months, and now we'd get 100,000 in a day. I've got some screenshots that I'll flash up for you as well showing the times and dates of when that kind of stuff happened. We're like, wow, 10,000 views. The other thing is it was taken seriously in terms of producing it, like produce it as well as we possibly could, but the actual subject matter was not that serious. Well, I mean, in some of the later episodes, there's little funny skits because we'd gone from running around in bird suits and filming with hidden cameras on the street doing silly stuff to doing this, so it kind of took a while to get in. But it's later on, people kind of thought we were a comedy show, which it's kind of, I don't know, it's sort of, it had elements of that, but look, it is what it is. Historically, it is what it is. You may have seen this, you may have not. Here it is, the first episode of Mighty Car Mods. I think on YouTube they call this a reaction video, Martin. Oh, wow. All right, there it is. The intro graphics have been made by our friend Iron Gab. He's a graphic designer. And he's done our graphics and intros for our big films all the way since the start. We put a bunch of like European and Japanese K cars and stuff in the title. So random.
Now today, we're going to be doing some mods.
What was that noise?
I don't know.
Did you hear that noise?
Keep it going.
Or you can see behind me. Now, we've sneakily borrowed it from a friend of ours. Now, she thinks we're going
to get quiet.
Okay? Now, in
you know what's
fact,
funny?
We're going
My
to be
t-shirt says,
up, okay?
I think it says I'm famous on the internet.
Does it actually?
I think so. And I wasn't?
$500, okay? So we don't have much time. We don't have much money.
A lot of people used to comment on the birds.
Now, the only thing
so noisy
monkeys.
Yeah, because it's just a leafy tree suburb.
Who can do it in the time?
So this is super cheesy now.
They say
I'll turn it the camera. See, that's meant to be funny, but they do that on the news.
They say
where they turn to the other angle. It was meant to be funny.
He was actually born with a soldering iron attached to his body.
That's a real X-ray on my body.
Now,
I've never whitened my teeth, Martin, ever. Some people have said my teeth are white. Never done it.
Your beard is filled in somewhat around the sides.
Well, he's in Sydney. We're at a secret location. I want you to meet this guy.
The t-shirt's just teasing us because we can't see what it says.
Yeah. And here's Martin's first time on the internet.
Ever. Of our stereo installation. Pioneer head unit, RCA out.
Mighty Mod Master.
Yeah.
Clarion splits. $100.
Martin, I do believe at the time we thought, we did know that if we had a video. It didn't matter if no one watched it, because corporate videos were really big leading up to this time. If we had a corporate video or a video of us doing stuff, that someone might give us a discount on some equipment.
Yeah.
But did we get a discount on any of that stuff or not?
Well, I think we did, and that's how we got it under the budget.
Oh, right.
Because it was like $500, but you know, well, actually at the time I used to work at an electronics shop,
Right.
so I got all that wiring, all that stuff.
No,
I got it like staff price, which sort of helped with the budget.
There were some good comments there. People are like, you can't get all that stuff for $500, which is true. And now, maybe I would call it, we got it for that price.
Yeah.
But then we didn't include the wheels and tyres because they can go crazy. Look, old Mini and Daihatsu, there's the future. Now, GoPros either had not been invented yet or, I don't know, didn't exist. We didn't have them, so we'd drive across the
You've met Marty,
bridge and
you've
film
shown
the other one out the
gear.
window
It's time to get to it.
in our lunch breaks of our real jobs.
Yep.
Which needed 3 people, so that was usually Gav who does our graphics.
Yep, 'cause he
Here you
works
go,
up-
the mods,
works up the
Martin.
road.
Here you go.
Generally easier to wind the window down when you're getting trims off, and also doubles so when you go to fit your new speakers, you know whether they'll fit or not, because you don't want to hit the window.
It's all very squinty because it's very bright in the middle
Yeah.
of summer in Australia. This is like the height of summer.
Shot well, good, and like it's still
there.
like it. I would say it still holds up. You know, I'd been to film school, like while I was at music school, I knew that you had to try and cover as much of the environment as possible. I think it looks good.
Yeah.
The control unit.
Funnily enough, on some of these parts that you can buy, like these,
Go to the actual.
have not changed. Like
Yeah,
you can
right.
still buy the same sort of central locking kits off the shelf. Oh, humour. Camera
Marty's a
off.
smart guy. And
Oh,
he's
is that what
sorting
you were
out
doing?
all
You were
the
turning the
wiring
camera
before he
off.
install the unit.
Okay.
That way he can double check everything before he puts it back together.
Used to do a little joke we just saw it a second ago, where I used to always hide the camera behind a plant. And I did that because one of my friends that I used to shoot with always used to say, "Why are you filming behind a plant?" So you'll see
Now,
somewhere
Marty's a
along
smart
here
guy, and he's
that I would
sorting out all the
see
wiring
always
before
behind
he
the plant.
Foreground.
That was
That way
just a
he
little
can
bit of
double check
foreground there, and I would
everything
do that
before he
just
puts
as
it
a
back
joke.
together.
Now, central locking itself is pretty straightforward, but the thing that makes it
Now,
difficult.
it's also worth
putting
saying
is
that at the
finding a
time when you could buy
lightweight
this car,
mount,
so this
because
car
you
was
need to make
about
sure it's gonna
10 years old? No,
reliably
8, 7, 8
lock
years
it on.
old.
Yeah, yeah.
So sort of starting to get pretty cheap. You'd probably say pay the same for one now. The cars
Well, it was $4,000. I
They
think.
didn't come with any of this stuff. So I mean, you go and buy a Golf
So
or
the
a
way this
Polo.
works
It's
is
like it's
basically
electric
just,
everything. No central locking.
this little rod here
the
attaches
world's
to our motor,
crappiest stereo.
and
And these were the
using this
basic
clip,
mods you sort of had to do just to get to the kind of level where you're like, this is
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That was
And-
like the beginning.
And that's what this video was meant to
bunch of
be
central locking
about.
motors in. Now we've got to run some power, and it's a good idea to run a new power lead straight from the battery, because you always want your central locking to work, and also it uses a fair bit of power too when you hit the locks.
Fair bit.
So we're going to do that, and we're going to run the power for the amp in one go.
See, now I reckon you would have like got a multimeter and checked how much power. There's the speed and the wiring through the firewall, Martin.
Yep.
But now when we're feeding mics through the wire, it usually goes for 10 minutes.
It does.
Because we're talking about
It has
silly things.
It's always a good idea to test everything before you wire it in, so you don't have to pull it out again. So we've just finished wiring up our power now that we just ran through the engine bay, and we've plugged all the
Oh, we're going to test if it works.
It works. Best
That's
feeling
the
when this stuff
truth.
works.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a good sound it makes as well. So
at
yeah,
that.
kind of interesting that the format of this show was
Now, one way you can improve the
I'm
sound
on
of
the
front speakers
front
on
of it
cheap
to tell you what's
is
going
by
on. I'm on the
damping
back of
door
it
down
and then a
with
bit of voiceover.
self-adhesive
And then doing
sound
some
there.
But in between, it's mostly kind of you doing the stuff, and then
Just
you would
cut
go,
it to
oh, cool, you
size
know, stick
and
some
then
stuff
stick
on
it
there.
over
Because it was my
the
car, I
horizontal.
wanted to do a bit myself as well.
Look at that.
These are still good mods. Like they're. Oh, what's going on? Oh, a head unit, man.
Yeah.
So we're splicing in the wiring loom for the new CD player. It already had it.
So that is the sound of the Australian summer, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So
Cicadas and birds and all sorts of
So in
stuff.
this case, we just match the colours up and strip the wires back. So
We were quite like.
so they don't
There's
shoot
like
out
quite a
everything,
sense
and
of
we should have our deck in very soon.
inhibited. Like it's quite quiet. It's like we hadn't learnt yet to instead. Oh, we're doing this, that. You kind of got to go. Next up, we're doing a thing, you know, because.
Yeah. I was just like super laid back. Yeah, man, yeah, you do this. It's good. We've been accused of being stoners. Not stoners.
No.
Definitely not.
Nope, definitely not.
Too busy doing
Also,
this.
of course, no camera guy, or camera girl. So anytime that you're seeing us doing something,
Now check
I'm
out
kinda
the
setting-
one-handed soldering technique.
the one-handed soldering technique, I'm setting up the camera and then jumping in and doing something. So if I'm on screen, Marty's holding the camera. If he's on screen, I'm holding it, or it's on a tripod.
So on the weekend, soldering wires in cars, and then during the week, soldering
speakers
wires
are in
building
and they're
recording
looking
studios,
awesome.
which was something that
And
we were
Marty's
doing
pretty happy
around the
about
same time.
Yes.
So I get to work in the front installing the new CD player and plugging in the wiring loom.
So satisfying, these mods. I still love doing this stuff.
Now,
Yeah,
while
yeah.
I'm putting the
Especially on
front
some
back
old
together,
shitbox that needs
Marty's
it.
in the back seat wiring up
Put
the
all
sub,
in, make
which
it
is
all
going
mad,
under the seat,
enjoy
so
your
you
stereo.
won't even know
We're
it's
also
there.
being musicians and composers and stuff like that, and sound engineers, super into the audio side of thing. Like, you would not have a car without a mad stereo, because you'd spend all week at work working on stuff, and you'd want to put it in your car to listen to it.
She doesn't want to be driving around in the Daihatsu, so we
Oh,
thought the best
D-bag.
way to solve
Forgot
that
about
is
this.
to take
Oh,
the
what
sticker
it-
off the back.
We're
Oh,
debagging
it's just a
dude.
sticker.
hair
Is that
dryer.
because you said I didn't want to be going around in a Daihatsu?
Something like that. At this point, I'm going to pause it here. It's worth remembering, I didn't love this car. I wasn't on board with the Daihatsu.
No, you were on the micro
I
train,
was on
weren't you?
Nissan. I was Nissan.
Yeah.
I was Mr. Nissan with
And I was Daihatsu.
because that was considered to be like a bit more, cool, big block, bad boy bonnet, all that sort of stuff.
But didn't look nearly as JDM. I reckon, like the kind of boxy, K-ish nature of that, I thought was just
Definitely,
way cooler than the
but see, that's
Daihatsu.
interesting how trends change. Like now, a micro sort of looks a bit 90s and rounded and weird, and these things are sort of when you slam and put a cool wheels on them,
They
they
look
look a
cool.
bit more legit.
Yeah, yeah.
And only once we went to Japan, maybe a year later, for the first time,
We saw
and
that blue one on the Advance.
We saw blue
Yeah.
one at the auctions, and it was like slammed on mad wheels, and I'm like, oh, I get it now.
Yes.
But at this point, I didn't, which is why I think I'd said, oh, Daihatsu, that's a bit
Yeah,
embarrassing.
yeah. But we weren't doing this as a JDM car. It
Nope.
was just my car. Like, there wasn't a sense that this was a cool car.
As
Like, there
you'll
was no
see-
historical perspective
As
to
you'll
that.
see by the wheels that go on it, which was just stuff you could get locally, because there wasn't as much of a supply of this kind of stuff. No one was buying 4x100 K-class Japanese wheels in 2007 and
It was
8.
pretty bad from what I remember.
Well, they just didn't exist. So if you wanted them, you either had to be very much in that niche of the world, which we weren't, we were just jumping into it, or you had to go and just buy whatever you could find,
Yes.
which was coming off the show car era, actually, was what this was.
Yeah, yeah.
Decal off, you can use some wax and grease remover to get the leftover residue off your paint.
Still got that hairdryer.
You still use it?
No, don't need it. Got a
Okay,
hair.
so the speakers are in, the central locking's in, the tweeters have been installed, but look at that muffler. Seriously got to do something about that.
The
So
muffler,
we're
I
in
mean,
the
that's
car
not even a
and we're
muffler. I
off to
called that a
Tuffy.
muffler. That's just a pipe. The muffler must be somewhere else.
Further up, I think.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so it's like, okay, so that's the Anzac Bridge in Piedmont, near where we used to work. If our old boss is watching, we were at work most of the time, but at
Now we
lunchtimes we
bought
were
a chrome
making our
tip for
YouTube show.
$10, and
Again,
the
better
guys
than
down there are
smoking
going to
bombs.
put it on for us. Total mod, probably about $25.
Oh, so
And
he's
that's
just
gonna
put a
make an
tip on.
incredible
Yeah,
difference.
just make it look
Look at
sick.
that. Just put the tip in. Oh my God.
Make
Put
it-
that $20. I think he gave us a discount because we were making a video.
The exhaust
winning.
is on, and
and
as
same
you
with
can
the
see,
wheels.
the Real is starting to look a little bit more respectable.
Yeah, look at
Now,
it.
We've got to
Bit
get
more
over and get
respectable.
the window tints done because we're seriously running out of time.
Running out of time.
We
mate.
had to get the car done for the...
Oh, we had to get it done, of
Girl
course.
owned it.
That's right.
Okay, the tints are on and the car's looking great. Now, originally we didn't have much of a budget for wheels or tyres,
True.
but we've just had a call from John at Tempe Tyres, and they're going to help us out with some stylish alloy wheels.
They did.
There was more voiceover after that. They're going to help us out with some stylish alloy
Now, the
wheels and
tints
they're
are on,
oh this
and we've just been down to Tempe.
stylish alloy wheels, and you can hear the voiceover goes, "Help us out with some stylish alloy wheels," and then there's a cut. I can't remember what was said after that, but there was something that maybe was wrong or something was whatever. I do know that they gave us a discount.
They did.
Because it was going to be on a video, and they didn't know what YouTube was. Like, they'd never heard of it. There's like, I know, and we're like, we'll film it. And I guess back then, they just wanted a video so they could go, oh, we were in a video.
They were just cool guys. Later on, like, we put tyre pressure sensors into Iron Gav's Porsche and did some track stuff, and they've just always been really helpful. They were just cool because, like, exactly, what's YouTube, what's the internet, who are these idiots?
Yeah.
And what's going on? And they were like, oh yeah, sure, let's do it. Like,
Yeah.
I really, really respect that, actually.
Look at this guy, man. Like, look at it.
What's with the green thing?
So I don't know. I used to wear them. I'd buy them from glebe markets, and I just kind of like them. My hair was pretty crazy. So I used to have dreadlocks, like down to my nips. And when I didn't have that, I kind of had an afro. So I used to wear those to kind of contain.
Yeah.
To contain
To keep
it,
them out of
you
your
know?
face when you're playing guitar.
And so I don't know. I thought at that time it wasn't about it being fashionable. I thought I'm going to be working on a car. I kind of put that on
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
and it seemed to make sense. I don't know, man. What can I say?
I was wearing hats the whole way through for two reasons. One, I was starting to lose my hair already at this age. And two, in Australia, in summer, it's hot. You will get sunburn and your whole head will melt off.
Yeah,
And so it's what we did. We're outside working on cars, and so there's just always a hat on.
yeah. I don't have a reason for that.
I like it.
So thanks,
Bring
mate.
it
Guys,
back,
to
dude.
put the wheels on. And I tell you what, the little Ciori's looking awesome.
Yes, it is.
Oh, goodness me.
Yes, it is.
All right,
that,
so
that
here-
looks pretty sick.
That looks pretty good.
Like, I would drive that.
So that was filmed down underneath the Harbour Bridge. Those wheels look pretty good. There was super stretch because
Yeah.
everything was just hitting everything.
If I remember correctly, didn't a different set of tyres go on first and they rubbed?
Yes,
So-
they did, but we didn't shoot that.
No, 'cause it wasn't
because we're like, it
interesting.
doesn't work, so then we had to go back and change it. And we may have even destroyed some tyres first. We went around the block and it was just ate them
Just
up,
scrubbing, yeah.
and then had to put these on. I was not happy with the super stretch. I'm still not a massive fan of
Yeah.
that stretchy look. I'm
was-
kind of about function,
It was
but
kind of necessary.
It worked.
It was kind of necessary at that point. And also, like, to be honest, I didn't quite understand wheel diameter, width, offset, all those sort of stuff that you just takes time to learn. I didn't
Yeah.
know that yet, so I didn't understand that the offset was probably fairly aggressive, which is what they say when it sticks out too far. But actually, it worked in the end.
Yeah, it looked cool.
And those wheels ended up on my March Super Turbo, and they ended up going through a few different cars.
Yeah.
So
And that there, I do believe, Martin, from memory, we did this is what we had, but it used to look like this, I think,
believe
which
this
is...
the same car we started working on only 8 hours ago.
There
Look
it
at
is.
it. That's
Look
pretty
at
cool,
that.
though.
That's a pretty cool
That's a
transformation,
mighty-
and it had like a proper wash and polish, and that's cool. Now, it was... I don't know if we said it was the same day or what we said, but all up it was 3 days because obviously going to the muffler thing was a different thing.
Yeah.
So it was it was probably 1 day's worth of time.
It was, yeah.
Or maybe even less. Maybe it was like 6 hours worth of time, but because of the time we had, it was done over multiple days. Anyway, what happens
We
next,
put
Martin?
in a new head unit, new speakers,
So
tweeters,
I
central
stuck a
locking,
different
keyless
lens on the
entry.
end of the
We've taken
camera. It's
stickers
got
off
kind
the
of like
back,
a
got the
fisheye look
windows
because I
tinted,
wanted the
and
end
now
to
we've
kind
got
of
these
feel like it was a
awesome
bit
wheels
more
for
like, ooh,
these.
this is crazy and a bit cool. So it's there they are. Look at that.
Tires.
And it kind of increases the nuggetry look of the car. With
Walk
that
around,
kind
no
of lens on it as
stabilisers,
well.
no gimbals back then. You're just wandering around, bouncing around. It still looks pretty cool though. Gives you an idea. Needs a big wing on it, doesn't it?
No, I think it looks good as it is.
All right, so the car's all done.
So that there is the foyer of the recording studio that we worked. So this here is now another day, and it says Mighty Mods HQ. That was not HQ at all. It was just where we worked. But now came the big reveal, Martin, the big twist of the story.
It looks awesome. What do you reckon, Marty? Where's the girl? The girl who owns the car? Well, that's the thing. It's actually my car.
Oh, it's hilarious, Martin. It's so
There it
funny.
is.
Oh, there's credits.
Credits.
There we go. Look at that.
Written and directed.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you to all the people that
Oh,
helped us out.
that was cool. MightyCarMods.com. There it was. Is there any... Sometimes we do a thing at the end. You know, we do a little...
Price is back. Price is quoted under RRP.
It's like we knew.
So cheeky.
It's like we knew that there'd be like the comments would light up before we even did it. It's like because we pimped the car for $500,
Yeah.
but that didn't include the wheels and tires.
No, it
so
didn't.
I reckon that's cheeky.
That's so cheeky.
It should be. This doesn't include the wheels and tires, which we kind of said on there. Oh, it doesn't include the thing of the
That's
thing.
true.
But anyway,
Yep. Wow.
there it is.
Wow. I think we even
was a
have some
thing,
of the
Martin.
original raw footage, which we might have to have a bit of a dig through.
This is the first
The
time we
first
ever
shot,
hit
right?
record. Yep, here we go.
Welcome to the first video from cleanandgreencar.org. Now today, we're going to be doing some mods on this little Daihatsu Cioi.
Which you've.
And that's the part that actually makes it into the episode.
Stop on that.
Ah, look,
Ah,
he has to coach me on
yeah.
how to do the camera. Go.
I've got to hit the old play button. Here we go.
Some awesome mods. Now the only thing we have to find is where can we find someone who can do it in the time. Okay, now hit stop on that.
Full coach.
All right.
What else we got?
Let's find. Oh,
They say he was raised.
I can't even look at that. I can't even look at that.
Oh no, that's a blooper.
Oh, it's a blooper, is it?
Go again.
Oh no.
They say he was raised by a he was raised by a gang of transgenetic monkey goats in Antarctica.
Wind noise.
Say he's the
We didn't have lapels or anything then either.
No.
with a soldering iron attached to his body. Okay, now that is pretty crazy. Okay. Now,
Okay, mate.
Now nobody knows what he's.
Where is he?
Here
Here he
he
is.
is. Did I get the first take right?
Let's see. Yeah, dude.
One take wonder.
Okay, so we've shown you the car, you've met Marty, we've shown you the gear. It's time to get to it. Let's go.
Is that in the video?
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, so that was one day. Wait a second. So that's one day, and that's another day now.
It looks like it, yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
how's the cheekiness?
And then someone might recognise that red Subaru in the garage that is still in action today. And there's some videos on fixing that too because the engine blew up. There's some of our driving shots.
Look at that. So our studio was just up here near the Anzac Bridge, and at lunchtime, we would drive down, go over the Anzac Bridge, do a loop back around, quickly get some food, and then get back to work in the time we had for lunch.
Awesome. Driving shot. Interesting seeing that other cars are on the road too. Like 2008 is the latest model that you'll see.
I sold that car because I was driving along once. Do you know this story?
I do. It needs to be told.
I was driving this car once, not wearing a beanie or anything, and so my hair's huge.
It was, yeah.
It was.
massive.
It was. It's getting less, but it was huge. And someone looked over at me and just goes, and I took that to mean I looked like a clown because I'm in this tiny car with this massive afro, and I was just like, no. So what did I go? I bought GTIR.
Yeah.
It's from Jeep to Daihatsu to GTIR. That's an evolution, that is.
That is.
Anyway, there it is. That is 13 years. Thank you. Some of you I know have been watching that whole time, so thank you so much for supporting the show, grabbing some merch. We really appreciate that. It's been a really amazing experience, like getting to, we've traveled, to places all over the world doing the show. Got to build our Focus RS in Germany, got to do some work in the car department of Fast and Furious, Mad Max, Need for Speed, like so many opportunities we've had. Cuba.
Totally, and that technology keeps changing. We were talking about it earlier on. It's like all the things that have come and gone, and MySpaces and TikToks and Vimeos and all these other things that have happened, and it's just really cool that you guys have come along for that journey that whole time. You've gone to the same YouTube thing and had a look. Our website's been there the whole time, will continue to be. So yeah, really appreciate that because that takes some effort. I know notifications change and robots change and the way that these algorithmic things will not show you things and not show you things, and that's been a huge change as well that we've noticed.
And your time is valuable, and we want to try and respect that. And we know that sometimes people watch videos and they get sucked in with the clickbait of someone going, I bought my mum a supercar, and then it's a Matchbox car or whatever, or they go, I didn't really buy one, I rented, like these kinds of things. And we know you guys have lots of choice, and so we appreciate that you watch our stuff. If you haven't seen our Christmas special yet, that's the Jimny and the K-Truck. You can check that out. Other than that, we're having a couple of weeks off because I think last year we did 75 videos.
78 videos last year.
So it's a lot. So it's
that's
one
a video
to one and a half.
4
days.
1.5 videos a week every week.
So and we obviously put as much effort into those as we can. So we're going to have a week or two off, Martin.
Do a bit of a clean-up, got some cars to move around, got a couple of cars with busted engines, as you guys know, and that just takes time, especially around this time of the year. There's actually nowhere to take them or send them or do anything, so everything sort of shuts down anyway.
Yeah.
So we're going to take that time to tidy up and get organised, and got a few other cool cars already to show you, and a lot of tying up loose ends of some stuff from history.
Yes.
That is going to be very exciting, very interesting to sort of see where that goes.
There's a couple of cars that you would have seen around or heard about. So you're going to be seeing those, but there's also some new ones. And so every year we really try and do the breadth of different stuff that's interesting for us, from newer cars to old cars. Certainly like this year you're going to be seeing, which is rare on this show, a current model car.
Yeah.
It's current as of right now that we're going to be taking and modifying, which is really cool. And then you're also going to be seeing some stuff that's like 40 years old or more, actually. And a few different things in between, probably something from every decade, actually.
Yeah,
so there's a few things on the boil. So thank you very much. Of course, if you do want to support the show, you can grab any merch, but we're pretty happy with our first step, jack up your car. There it is. That's it. Thank you very much.
Happy January. Look after yourselves.
cleanandgreencar.org. Check it out. And we will see you back in a couple of weeks. We are spending the next couple of weeks getting together some mods and doing different things. So we are going to probably I don't know, ride our motorbikes, go for a run, have a barbie, hang out,
Go
relax
four-wheel
a little
driving
bit.
again.
Go four-wheel driving,
Yes.
but we're also going to be prepping for our new episodes coming out. So you will be seeing this again popping up in a couple of weeks, few weeks, week or three. You'll see us again, and we'll be back at it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
See you next time.
It is looking awesome, and it's almost showtime. Yeah!